Well, Teresa said that the truth was going to come out, and boy, did it ever. And here's what we all learned, Teresa. The fact that you and Louie are even shadier and slimier and quite frankly more pathetic than we even imagined. You guys, we need to talk about Louie, but where do we even start? Did you see him baiting Joe from across the room with his crazy Joker face? I call Joe a lot of things. This dude is the ultimate instigator. And then when he's talking shit about Joe to Jen and Bill Aiden, and he says something like, it's so sad that someone's blood brother would do something like that. And then he looks at Teresa and goes, I'm sorry. The dude is delusional and a liar. So much of a liar that the word liar doesn't even seem like a strong enough word. But Con does. And if you saw Watch What Happens Live last night, you know why. But before we get to Watch What Happens Live, let's go back to the party because that's where Louie first mentioned the fact that he'd hired a private investigator. He mentioned Bo Dietl and he said, Bo's got dirt on everybody here. And people heard him. They were like, huh? What'd he say? Huh? And then the next morning, sitting at his own kitchen table, looking into the eyes of Jennifer and Dolores, he doubled down on the whole thing. And he goes on to tell them that this isn't just any PI, but this is a world-class PI, one of the best in the country, and also his best friend. He says Bo has dirt on everyone, and there's more where that came from. And then last night on Watch What Happens, when they were playing a game, Andy asked Teresa if she could defend the fact that Louie had hired a private investigator to look into the cast. And she said yes. And then, and this is where it gets really good, there was a question for Teresa that said, why do you have a problem with Marge having an arsenal, but you don't have a problem with your husband hiring a private investigator to monitor the cast? And Andy says, good question, because it was. And Teresa comes back with, he didn't do that. What? Andy says, we all heard him say it, Teresa. And she says, yeah, he said it, but he didn't mean it. He was just frustrated. So Andy then turns to Louie, who's in the audience, and says, did you just say it? And Louie says, yeah, I just said it. I was at the end of my rope. The lying and manipulation by you two is some next level shit. Newsflash for you both. This is not what winning looks like.